Welcome to Section 1. Are you ready to answer the question?
Yes.
It is a system for transmitting messages from a distance along a wire, especially one creating signals by making and breaking an electrical connection.
Telegraph.
The idea of using electricity to communicate over distance is said to have occurred to Morse during a conversation aboard ship when he was returning from Europe in 1832. Michael Faraday's recently invented electromagnet was much discussed by ship's passengers, and when Morse came to understand how it worked, he speculated that it might be possible to send a coded message over a wire. Who invented the original telegraph?
Samuel F.B. Morse.
Well, before Morse had his shipboard ideas about a telegraph, Princeton's Joseph Henry rang a bell at a distance by opening and closing an electric circuit. In 1831, he had published an article of which Morse was unaware that contained details suggesting the idea of an electric telegraph. Gill's help and his knowledge of this article proved crucial to Morse's telegraph system. Henry's experiment with Gill's assistant and soon after hiring the young technician Alfred Vail were keys to Morse's success. Morse competed in the telegraph system in England. He realized that although his main competitor had built an ingenious mechanism, his own system was far simpler, more efficient, and easier to use. His system used an automatic sender consisting of a plate with long and short metal bars representing the Morse code equivalent of the alphabet and numbers. The operator slid a pointer connected to a battery and the sending wire across the bars, and immediately appropriate dots and dashes were sent over the line. The receiver used an electromagnet with a stylus on the end of an arm. When the magnet operated, the stylus made an impression or tiny dent in a paper tape which would pass a clockwork motor. The tape was then read by the operator.
Hi, welcome in Section 2. Are you ready to answer the questions?
Yes.
What do you call to a 19th century optical toy consisting of a cylinder with a series of pictures on the inner surface that, when viewed through slits with a cylinder rotating, give an impression of continuous motion?
Zoetrope.
In October 1878, Scientific American published a series of pictures depicting a horse in full gallop, along with instructions to view them through the zoetrope, so the photos were taken by an English photographer, Edward Muybridge, to settle a bet between California businessman Leland Stanford and his colleagues. Stanford enlisted Muybridge to take the photograph the position of a horse's hooves in rapid succession. What do you call an early device for displaying moving images and is considered an important predecessor of the movie projector? It was conceived by photographic pioneer Edward Muybridge in 1879. Muybridge used the projector in his public lectures from 1880 to 1895.
It's the gyroscope.
Muybridge findings fascinated many, and with Stanford's support, he created sequential photo projector, the gyroscope, in 1879. With this device, Muybridge projected his photos to an enthralled San Francisco audience the following year. Meanwhile, in Paris, noted physiologist Elaine Jules Marie was doing similar work. His studies of animals in motion drove him to experiment with photography, and he fashioned a camera that could take 12 pictures per second of a moving object, the technique called chronophotography. Along with Muybridge's work were the founding concept for motion picture camera and projector. What machine that could project the moving images onto a screen?
Kinetoscope.
In 1888, in New York City, the great inventor Thomas Edison and his British assistant William Dixon worried that others were gaining ground in camera development. The pair set out to create a device that could record moving pictures. In 1890, Dixon unveiled the kinetograph, a primitive motion pictures camera. In 1892, he announced the invention of the kinetoscope, a machine that could project the moving images onto a screen. In 1894, Edison initiated public film screening in recently opened kinetograph parlors. While the first film were of commonplace occurrences, trains approaching, people dancing, and animals playing, filmmakers soon started to incorporate storylines and music into their works. Between the year of 1890 and 1937, thousands of silent films were produced with an ever-increasing sophistication of storyline and technical craftsmanship.
Hi, welcome to Section 3. In this section, you just need to find the history book.
Okay. Hi, where can I find it? Why is it so hard to find that book?
Do you need help?
Yes, please.
If you're looking for a book, there is an easy way to find it.
Really?
Yes, the Dewey Decimal System, which is also called Dewey Decimal Classification, the best set of all skills for the classification of documents in libraries, devised by Melville Dewey in 1873 and published in 1876. Apart from being the first modern classification scheme for libraries, the Dewey System embodies two of Dewey's many contributions to the theory and practice of librarianship. First, he recognized that a systematic arrangement of books on shelves should make sense to the user. His scheme therefore reflected to the dominant pattern of current thinking, exemplified by the classificatory science. And second, he used decimal as notation symbol, which illustrated the way in which subjects were divided hierarchically from main classes to specific topic. The system is for organizing the contents of a library based on a division of all knowledge into 10 groups, with each group assigned 100 numbers. The 10 main groups are 0 to 99 general works, 100 to 199 philosophy and psychology, 200 to 299 religion, 300 to 399 social science, 400 to 499 language, 500 to 599 natural science and mathematics, 600 to 699 technology, 700 to 799 799 the arts, 800 to 899 literature and rhetoric, and 900 to 999 history, biography, and geography. These 10 main groups are in turn subdivided again and again to provide more specific subject groups. Within each main group, the principal sub-series are divided by 10. For example, the history of Europe is placed in the 940s. Further subdivision eventually extended to decimal numbers. The history of England is placed under 942. The history of the Stuart period at 942.06. And the history of the English Commonwealth at 942.063. Here is your history book.
Wow, thank you for the information and helping me to look for this book. Hi, welcome in section 4. For this last section of the game, you just need to watch the video. In 1872, former governor of California and railroad tycoon Leland Stanford, founder of Stanford University, hired the English photographer Edward Muybridge to settle a debate whether, during its gait, all four of horse hooves are simultaneously off the ground. This challenged Muybridge to look for a way to capture the sequence of movement. In 1878, after 6 years of work on the project, Muybridge succeeded. He arranged 12 tripwire cameras along a racetrack in the path of galloping horse. The resulting photo sequence proved that there is a point when no hooves touch the ground and set the stage for the first motion pictures. He placed numerous large glass plate cameras in a line along the edge of the track. The shutter of each was triggered by a thread as the horse passed. In later studies, he used a clockwork device to set off the shutters and capture the images. The path was lined with cloth sheets to reflect as much light as possible. He copied the images in the form of silhouettes onto a disc to be viewed in a machine he had invented, which he called a processoscope. This device was later regarded as an early movie projector and the process as an intermediate stage toward motion pictures or cinematography. This study is called the horse in motion. It shows images of the horse with all feet off the ground. This did not take place when the horse's legs were extended to the front and back, as imagined by contemporary illustrators, but when its legs were collected beneath its body as it switched from pulling with the front legs to pushing with the back legs.